What is going on, guys? Your boy Guns here, and today I want to talk to you guys about what my plans are for Season of Strife. Okay, so with Season of Strife coming out, we're not expecting any new heroes. We're not expecting any new artifacts or pets. So at that point, it kind of gives us some time to catch up for some of us that especially for me, while being in Noir, like I got a lot of catching up to do as far as heroes and troop counts or whatnot. But you can't really get into that mindset, guys, of like catch up, catch up, catch up. Instead, everyone should be focusing on what's the best way that I can optimize my account. So, as you guys know, I didn't end up pushing that last greatest heights. Now I know a lot of you guys been trolling. You guys yeah. Now that you're in Noir, you're never gonna win one, which is fine. It's fine, dude. That just means I get to save up my speed ups even more. I'm still on cooldown, so I'm out here in Narnia. Okay, but going right into it, guys. The marches that I'm planning on running for Season of Strife are these right here. Okay, so we got Lily and Thea with the Celestials, Max Inferno, okay, and then my Sapphire Phaedrake right here. This Sapphire Phaedrake, it's okay. It's not bad, but I would definitely add follow up and like be more similar to this one right here. Ruthless follow up and follow up. Anyways, not to go too much into that, but yeah. Lilia Thea with Celestials. Guys, this March has been the best mage march for me, merit-wise. Okay? The Lilia Thea has definitely been outperforming my Bird Tohar. Other mage mains have reported the same. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the Infernal Flame gives you the passive of increasing magic attack, right? So these passives giving you more attack ultimately correlates over to more merits. Okay? And then for our next march, we got good old Mag Zay. As you guys know, we got Zeta awakened now, 5-star, working on getting her 6-starred. We got Mag F 5552, right? 5552, working on her. I'm actually running the Heart of Kamasi or the Gilded Crossbow. Now, the Gilded Crossbow is going to play an even bigger role this season, guys, because having that march speed is going to allow for me to go in and out of combat depending on the opportunities that show up, right? Whether that's melting tanks, because that's going to be like one of her primary things. And I'll go a little bit into that down the road, but yeah, one of her primary things are going to be melting tanks and picking off marches that are out of position. Next, we got good old Bert Tohar. Man, oh man, guys, we are going to have a lot of fun Season of Strife for Bert Tohar. I feel like Bert Tohar kind of got put into the shadows with long-range warfare being around, because it kind of, the archers were just taking all the limelight. Now, with that being said, Season of Strife will be the season that I think Bert Tohar are going to show like their strongest potential, guys, because that orb right here, this max orb is filthy. Like, all the archer mains are going to absolutely second guess going up against you, especially if they know, like, damn, yeah, that guy right there has a freaking max Mirage Orb, max freaking Bert Tohar. He's for show gonna blast me with that thing, you know what I mean? So, so that's definitely gonna come into play. We got a nice little Berserk Phaedrake going, or sorry, Shadow Phaedrake going here. I wouldn't change anything of this pet so far. I think it's really good. Maybe I can change this, since Tohar doesn't do hero skill damage, but as of right now, it's pretty good. That's what. So that Bert Tohar, guys, I mean, it even helps out melting down tanks, because you're taking less counterattack with Tohar. With his, what is it, 3rd skill? 4th skill. Right? Counterattack damage taken by 15%. So that's why, I got that Bert Tohar there. Then our next march here is my support march, Valen and Indus. Now, I know a lot of people have been running Lilia Valen, right? But I'm telling you guys, this March right here has done better for me than the wall deer in this. Especially because Valen is super quick, right? So with him being super fast, it allows for me to charge up the Breath of Gigantus, and then charging up the Breath of Gigantus first allows me to proc it first, then followed up by the Orb and Infernal Flame, right? So that's kind of like the progress that kind of happens there. That Valen in this is usually the first ones in, and I run my Vestals on this Bird Tohar. I run my Celestials, and it's an amazing support march, man. That Breath of Gigantus is up there and one of the top artifacts in the game that are just not being used. Yeah. So, and then moving on. Well, I got a little something on there. Nice little decent pet. Moving on to my favorite march, Gorish Skogul. Man, oh man, this march is just absolutely insane, guys. Last season, I had to use them a lot. I feel like this season, me and Noir, I won't have to be using them as much because there's so many players here that are a lot stronger than I am that are going to be launching out tanks. So that's going to allow for me to focus on my DPS marches, right? Because if they're doing a lot of the tanking, they're going to need support with full DPS, right? Whether that's dropping a breath on them or, you know, hitting specific marches with the orb, right? So I think my tanks are going to get a little bit less playing time this season, especially because some of you guys know I've been saving up for a push. And you'll probably hear me talking about it for months, but we're saving up for a push, guys. We need to have at least at the worst like 1.1 billion mana saved up. Probably gonna need like 2 billion. It's insane, guys, how much you need, right? It's actually insane how much you need. Who knows, maybe I just end up pushing like a strongest lord event or something when the new mages come out, or maybe I just stick to my guns, lol, and just keep on saving up. I don't know, guys. Okay, so those will be the 5 marches. Now you might be wondering, now I'm gonna go into the tips of how I plan on playing this lineup. Okay, I plan on coming out with my mages first. Okay, I plan on coming out with my mages first in the first initial fights, right? With these 3 here. Can I run an additional march? Yes, I can. However, I don't want to burn through all my troops, right? Because I definitely care about my merits, right? So Lilia Thea and Bird Tohar are the ones that get me the most merits out of all my mage marches. But I'm gonna take out these 3 right here initially. Now, once those start hurting, right, and I'm running low on mages, like we are hurting bad, I might bring out, and then I'll bring out good old Magze. And then I'll probably use her as kind of like, she'd be just patrolling the lines, you know, like picking off tanks, marches that are out of position, kind of kite back and forward, right? Because let me show you guys my troop count, right? So you can see why I'm main mage, right? I have like 2 million magic units compared to 741k ballista, so I have to play it really smart. That's why right now I can only run 1 archer march, 1 swordsman, and one knights if I use the knights, which I'll talk about the knights here in a second. So you need to use your marches wisely. There's a lot of people that message me and are like, oh, I run 4 mage marches, but they only have like 1.5 million mage units. I think a good rule of thumb is about 1 million troops per march. That's kind of what I'm looking at right now for the best optimization, right? So for me to be having a full best optimization, I would get rid of that Valen in this, and it'll just be Lilia Thea and Bird Tohar, which will put me at that level, so my account could give the most punch, right? So yeah, that's why I'm only running those specific marches. Now, as the fights go on, we're gonna see, guys. We're gonna see who's getting me. You guys know how I do it, right? as the wars continue on and they're getting crazy or whatever, starting to run low on troops, I personally heal the march that's getting me the most merits, right? Because that's the march that's doing inflicting the most sev wounds out there, and sev wounds ultimately lead to victories, right? Not all the time, but a lot of the time. Excuse me. So that's kind of gonna be it. As far as for my tanks, when am I gonna utilize my tanks? My tanks will be utilized during times that the tanks are most needed, right? During those friction points, once the flags are touching, right? You need to create that space for your destroyers. You need to create that space for your team to push up the ramp, like very key spots. Then on top of that, I would only use my tank as a blocker, right? And what do I mean by that, right? What do I mean by just by using them as a blocker? Traditionally, you see people just launch their Goresh off into the abyss he goes, right? Off into the abyss he goes, and he's dead, right? But considering that I'm not going to be RSS healing that much this season, one of the things that I'm going to be doing is just using my Gorish Skogul to block marches, right? So boom, you see a tank running up, bam, I run up, block it, bang, 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 our DPS line melts it, and then I run back. Right? So essentially that's how my tank's going to be used, mainly just as a blocker against other tanks. That's how that's going to be used. Now, for my Cav March, for my infamous Cav gang players out there, one of the ways that I plan on using my calves, that I always use my calves, and I find the best utilization for them is, let's just say you have two skirmish lines here, right? You have two skirmish lines here. I like putting my calf in one of the nodes and patiently waiting for two outcomes. Outcome number one, we're smacking them and they're running, right? Now, boom, now here comes the cav. You come out, you get the stragglers, blink in front of them, bang, 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 shit on them, and then you move over to the next person, right? Now, number two, you guys are getting smacked, right? So now I'm using my calves to block other calves and tanks from getting to my main marches, and that's what I love about Blink. You can kind of come up, block a little bit, bang, block, and then you can blink out of there and run back, giving your range marches time to reposition, right? Because we don't retreat, we reposition. All right, Chad, remember that. So that's kind of how I plan to run those guys. As far as my account specifically, right? Because it is a mage main account, right? Now, there will be occasions when I run Haas Kanara instead of Magrid Zeta, right? However, towards the end of the season, I was testing out Mag Zay in what I like to call bar fights, right? Just chaotic. There's no kind of organization on it. Let's see what happens, right? Magrid Zeta, we're still getting more merits than Haas Kanara being swarmed. Now, that's just my own personal experience. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As far as like getting swarmed, but they were doing well, bro. They were still getting 40-50k merit reports, while Kanara was getting 20 to 30. Kanara Hosk, or Hosk Kanara, right? So yeah, I mean, there'll be times where I test them out, but that's kind of how I have it planned. As far as what I plan on, investing on real quick, I'm gonna be working on my Freygar in the wheel, right? I'm gonna be working on my Freygar in the wheel. Now, once we get at least for this season, right? Because we're not getting any new heroes, so it's definitely going to be Freygar in the wheel for me personally. For everything, right? Because as you guys know, I'm also a Spring Warden hybrid, right? So when it's hunting season, I switch to my hunting mode and start chasing people down. So that's kind of how I'm looking at. That's kind of summing up right there, like the 5 marches that I'm running. Kind of give you guys the inside of what I'm planning, and your guys' role in your specific alliances, your guys' role changes, guys, depending on where you land at in power, right? Like if you're a top 15, top 30 player, like, bro, you are the one that's going to be doing a lot of tanking, right? Or you could be in an alliance where the power is relatively spread out kind of evenly ish. So that's a lot of players can take on multiple roles, right? But you kind of got to gauge like where you sit at, like where can I benefit my team the most, right? And for me personally is bringing my highest DPS marches, right? When I was with Pay to Win, my highest value was with Gorge Skullgold, just freaking spam healing them and full sending them to the front, right? To allow other people to come up, because not everyone was RSS healing. We definitely had a lot of players that were, but a few weren't, right? Because tanks win wars, guys. Tanks win wars. So that's one of the things for you guys to keep in mind. Where do you fall at in the pecking order of your alliance, right? Are you the kind of person that's going to have to be like Mephisto and freaking be an absolute freaking meat shield for people, like pushing up, providing that space for your team? You know, are you kind of like in my position where you're about middle of the pack? Okay, so bring some DPS. You know what I mean? Always find ways to be the most useful for your team. Now, that's kind of get into the ideology of how I see all that. But man, guys, I'm excited. That pretty much sums up my plan as far as what marches I am going to be running. And it should be interesting. It should be interesting. A couple points I want to touch on, guys, is with long range warfare being gone, what is the field going to look like now, right? What is the field going to look like now? Before, archers were still very viable because a lot of people were T5 and a lot of other people were T4. But now that a bunch of people are T5, and more than likely the matchmaking is going to put us against other people that are close to our power, so maybe any 17 billions and up. So a lot of them are going to have a lot of T5s as well, right? So that changes things. That really does change things. I think a lot of archer mains are play the way that I told you guys, unless they're a heavy hitter and they're providing that initial push, right? So they'll push in with 2 to 3 tanks and 2 archers, you know, just like a full like counter builds pushing in there, right? So all of that really depends. So keep an eye out for that, guys. I'm definitely going to be testing it. I mean, you guys know I have a good Magze, so I'll definitely be running that. What else, guys? What else? Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much it. If you have any further questions, guys, okay. One last takeaway. I've been playing this game for what, like a year and a few months now, and look at the marches that I have. Lilia Thea still out here. Valen still out here, right? And in this, took my Waldir spot. Now, keep that in mind for your guys' investments, right? Mage mains. Do you see a Hoskanar here? No, you see a Magze here, right? So if you're mage main, you can already start planning of going for Magze once they come out. If you ever have like a little side project, right, and want to go archers, you can go there. Anyways, that's kind of going into the order of investment, which we won't dive deep into, but I just wanted to touch on that real quick. That's kind of extra food for thought for you guys. But if you have any further questions, guys, as far as a season of Strife or whatever, which a lot of us don't know much about, who knows? Maybe they drop something crazy on us as a surprise. I don't think so, but that'd be kind of cool. But if you have any further questions, guys, make sure you drop comments below. Drop your questions. Let me know any kind of questions that you guys have. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like on this video. And if you want to continue enjoying more content like this, make sure you drop a sub-a-rooney. Turn on that bell notification. Lets you guys know when I go live or drop a new video. That's going to be it for this one, guys. Your boy Guns. I'm out. Peace.